Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on the Bible Belt Bros podcast. It's a new year, it's a new day, it's a new you, and it's a new podcast. And we're so happy that you guys are back with us. And today we're just going to start off strong. And we got a couple guys from the Oddity podcast. You can find them anywhere podcasts are listened to. But we got John and we got Tiny, aka Christopher, or is it Christopher, aka Tiny? I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. And they're on a podcast. They have their own little podcast where they talk about different news stories that everybody loves. But I'm just super happy that we're not talking about fantasy football anymore. Fantasy football is over. Andrew and I lost, and we just are trash at fantasy football. So I don't even know why we were trying to even talk about it to begin with. But hey, welcome to the podcast, guys.
Yeah, this is a fantasy football podcast, isn't it?
Well, if we're not now because we both lost.
Okay.
So.
I don't know if what's it, Francisco Ruiz out in Oregon? Has he got in touch with you?
No.
Oh, he's a guy in they do the Retro Rerun podcast. He's a dude in the Christian Podcasters Association group, and he asked me about y'all's podcast, so I thought he might reach out. But he asked me what y'all were, and I was like, I think it's a fantasy football podcast.
Well, that's the problem. So I'm actually going to go back and probably delete some of those now because I don't want it to look like that. And I did have somebody ask about our podcast, and then I was like, can you just skip the fantasy football ones and you'll be fine. So,
gotcha.
Well, it ended up we were just trying to do a fantasy football podcast instead of talking about fantasy football on every podcast. So we were just kind of like doing a Tuesday show, and then it ended up we didn't have material to do other shows besides fantasy football. So we're so spiritual that way that we can talk about football forever, but we can't think about what else to talk about spiritually.
Hey, dude, you're talking to guys who do an odd news show, so we can't talk. I mean, here's the thing, like, you've probably never heard of it, but the Rick and Bubba Show is a radio show out of Birmingham down here, local to us. It's big in the Southeast. Anyway. Point is,
Bible Belt.
In the Bible Belt.
It's up for debate. Where's the Bible?
No, there's no debate.
Actually, Andrew debates with me that I don't know.
Well, anyway, they're two. I mean, they do their show. They're on secular radio stations. It's not a quote air quote Christian show. It's a normal radio show, but the two hosts on there are Christians, and their worldview tends to come out when they talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a segment called The Wacky World, and that was kind of the inspiration for our podcast. It was inspiration / direct ripoff.
Right.
So,
actually, if you Google the Bible Belt, Oklahoma's in it.
Oh.
We're barely.
So get you some, John.
It's like over there on the end of the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
we're
it's
the
in
buckle,
there.
though.
Right. I mean, this was definitely got us much darker red.
Yeah. Well, that's because we are the buckle of the Bible Belt.
Yeah. The heart of Dixie and the heart of the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
So I can keep the name of the podcast. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely.
We're not going to make you change.
Absolutely.
All right. Good deal. Okay. So let's talk about your show. You guys, what is it? The Oddity of something.
I'm so glad that you've listened.
I've listened to a couple
for the show tonight. It's
you guys do like a news stories kind of thing.
It's called Earth Oddity. Our tagline
Oddity.
is an odyssey into all the oddity Earth has to offer.
Okay, so at the very beginning it says some radio network. Is that something of yours, or are you guys on a different?
No. That is not something of mine. I want to say it was June.
Yeah, somewhere around
we haven't been
podcasting
podcasting long. We started in January of 2018, so we're like a year and 2 days, since we've started.
That's right.
And I want to say in June, this guy, he just hit me up on Facebook. He was like, "I've got this, this network, and we'd like to offer y'all a spot." And to tell you the truth, we were kind of hesitant about joining.
Very
it at first.
skeptical. I was very skeptical.
But I tell you what, I mean, ultimately we were like, well, anything to get us out there is a good thing, as long as we don't have to sign some kind of contract promising our children away or something. and it's worked out great. Johnny Irons of the Iron Show.
He's an interesting character.
He's an interesting guy, but he's a good dude. I like him a lot. And he owns the network, the Fringe Radio Network, and he's got
there's a bunch of shows.
Yeah, like Spreaker. He just like owns like I guess the network tier or whatever, where he can have as many shows and as many feeds as he wants. And
okay.
He's got a lot of shows on there, and some of them are wild. But like we said on our show, we're gonna make friends where we can make friends.
That's right.
And it's worked out. It's worked out good because we went from like 100 downloads a week, which we were ecstatic about.
Right.
And overnight, it was like 200, and it's just climbed from there. So,
dang, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he gave us a Spreaker feed that we don't have to pay for. Right. So it's worked out good.
Nice. I've always joked with Andrew that I'm just gonna start saying that like Starbucks is our sponsor this week,
even though they're not,
to sound more official, But,
well, we have a sponsor. It's John's good buddy Brandon.
Yeah, he's our sponsor.
Yeah, he does the Cajun Curl Spice. So. My wife hates my podcast. I don't know if you suffer the same grief, but man, she cannot stand it. She has hated every second I've put into this. I've brought her along kicking and screaming, and I keep telling her it's going to pay off one day. So either one day it's either going to pay off, or I guess I'll have to just vanish and run away from.
I thought it'd be funny if I could just sit down with her and do like a one-on-one interview and just get her to list all the things she doesn't like about the podcast.
You know what?
You think she would do that?
I don't think she would do that, but I do think that would be audio gold.
I'll try to talk her into it. Just me and her. You don't have to be there. And she just lay it all out on the table. Like, this is what I hate about it.
And don't tell her you're recording it because you don't want to get her censored feelings.
Yeah, your censored feelings.
No, I'll get right down to meat and the bone. I was a journalism major for a while. I know how to interview.
I think my wife likes the podcast somewhat. Sometimes I kind of quiz her. I'll talk about her to see if she's actually listened or not.
Right,
I do that.
Do you like the podcast, honey?
Do I like it?
Yeah.
Totally.
She's lying most of the time. She's just said under her breath most of the time. So,
well, I tell you what. I mean, if Tara would tell me that, I would take it because she has come right out and said, "I do not like your podcast. You're wasting time. This is time that could be spent with our kids, with mowing grass, with all this other stuff. Which I like hanging out with the kids, but all this other stuff you don't want to do. You need to be doing that."
Yeah, I don't do that stuff anyways. Regardless if we had a podcast or not.
Yeah. It's like I didn't do it for the podcast. I'm not doing it after the podcast.
My wife pretty much lets me do my own thing anyways. That's why we're together.
So your podcast, you guys bring up, it seems like current event news, and you just kind of bring up some crazy stories. Like the most recent one I listened to was the scandal of the oldest woman in the Guinness Book World Records.
That's right.
That's our latest episode. Absolutely.
Yeah, so you had a little scandal there of false, Russians were involved. I can't remember.
We talk about the news that people really want to hear.
Yes.
Like, border wall, boring.
Boring, yes.
Mueller investigation, yawn. I've been hearing about it for over a year now. But now, oldest person in the world, scandal.
Right.
Or
she's a fraud, a French fraud.
Or reading the future with asparagus. I mean, come on, that's the news people really care about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
there's a radio show that I used to listen to talk radio a lot, and it was a sports show, but my favorite section of their show was when they talked about the trash, and that was like the crazy stories like you did.
Trash on the table?
Yeah. But you guys bring it
There's a show at Birmingham that's trash on the table. It's a sports show.
Well, this isn't just like a small segment. It was like a 15-minute thing, but I mean, you guys stretch it out. Your podcast episodes are what, an hour and a half, somewhere around there, right?
We try to keep them at an hour, but now here sometimes we've had them go an hour and 15, and we've had a few go an hour and 30, but I don't think we can get much over that.
I'll get to rambling.
Yeah, John, he likes to chase rabbits, and occasionally I do too, but
Yeah,
I cut them down some, but I don't cut them down a ton because John is just such a fascinating person.
Yeah,
I just assume that everybody else in the world would want to hear every word he has to say.
Our podcast, if you listen at the very first episodes, it was about an hour and a half, same kind of thing. 45 minutes of me rambling about a topic that some of the facts I'm spitting out is not accurate. Stuff like that. So we've been able to realize that if we shortened it to 20 to 30 minutes, more people listen. And so I think they just couldn't listen to me long enough.
Well, I tell you what, I remember when we started out, I had a lot of people saying the same thing, like y'all need to shorten your episodes. And our response to them was kind of, hey, listen to it in 15-minute seconds. You don't have to listen to all of it.
Just pause it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. I get up early on Saturday morning. I set up all this stuff. I don't want to set it up for 15 minutes and then, which I guess we could take one episode and cut it down. But the people we have listening now are accustomed to what we do.
Right.
I think I could be wrong. And I may get some emails about this, and if so, that's cool because we ask them at the end of every show to send us their comments.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Either they're happy or they're just beat to submission.
I was going to say,
either way, it's cool with me.
But yeah, if we cut it way down now, I think we might have some people like Wilson. Some folks say, "What are y'all doing?"
Right.
Yeah,
we got some pretty hardcore.
Yeah,
Oddity fans.
Oddites.
I could see you breaking it down and doing each segment a day or something like doing one of those. It inflates your download numbers. But
that's too much work.
then you're editing. Yeah, then you're editing more. But well, I think it's a pretty funny podcast. It's clean, right? It's not really faith based, right? But it's clean. Just clean comedy.
We try to keep it family friendly now. Just to be fair, we do have an occasional story that may skew a little PG-13, but
but we don't cuss or anything
like that. Yeah, I was about. We're recording in a unused Sunday school room at our church, so that kind of keeps us honest.
And my mom listens.
Yeah, and John's mom listens. Now, nobody. Well, I think my dad listens occasionally, but he actually has way worse vocabulary than I do. So
he was in the military, though. It can't. That's fine.
Yeah.
My parents they don't know how to pull up a podcast. I try to show them, and then they're like, they mess it up. So.
Oh, that's my mom's routine.
My dad likes to call me during the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And then tell me to edit him out. Like when I'm stitching.
I want you to leave him in every time, though.
Because my phone is our soundboard, which we don't use it except for intro and outro music and stuff. We have a stinger that we use every week. But when somebody calls me, they get through.
They get in. It's the hotline. Yeah, I have the number now. So
we should tweet out. Well, you know what?
Let's do tweet out your number.
Let's see what happens. My personal number.
That's right. They're called Tiny.
We have a Google number. We should tweet that out and take calls. We've taken a few calls before.
Yeah, I've never taken a live call, but I've had people leave voicemails. On the fantasy football stuff to rant about their team or whatever. So it was fun.
I remember that one. It required a lot of editing.
It did. Like that's the thing is.
I was sitting there listening, like, man, he spent a lot of time.
For me, editing is actually fun, and so like, there's a lot of extra characters that you can add in there, sound effects and stuff, and so I like it.
Maybe you should edit some of our stuff sometime because I hate it.
You can probably tell like the episode beginning is like very well done, and then as the episode drags on, the editing drops down.
There's like more uhs and likes.
More and just silence. Like I don't even finish it. I just all right, I'm done editing.
Yeah,
let's post it.
You got that clip we sent you?
Yeah, I got a clip.
Okay, a little bit of background. We did a story about this lady who throws asparagus stalks into the air, and they come down and on the ground, and she reads their pattern to tell the future. Very similar to the Chinese I Ching.
Yeah.
And me and John dabbled in that to find out who was going to win the national championship instead of just waiting 48 hours. And thereby cursed our team.
That's right.
To get curb stomped by Clemson.
Yeah, just destroyed.
The worst beating, like the worst point deficit since Saban has been in Alabama.
Yeah.
That is their worst loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's our fault.
Oh,
it is our fault.
I take all the blame. I would just put it on my shoulders, and I'll shoulder that for the Alabama nation.
Yeah.
So you're the reason that I lost $10.
Oh yeah,
you lost $10 on that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry,
that's
man.
Tough. That's tough. You just bet like straight up.
With the spread.
Okay, yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
At least you didn't bet the under. So
if my father-in-law was here, who's a Southern Baptist preacher, he would say that's what you get for gambling.
That's right. Yeah.
You're not gambling when it's the sure thing, right?
Yeah, it's not gambling when it's a sure thing. I love it.
It's the stock market.
I don't gamble, but just because I'm a tightwad. But I'm very interested in gambling. I also have like an addictive personality, and I'd lose my house and everything else.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can't do like $10 and then lose because the next time I'm like, well, I'm going to do 500 and
get it all back.
Right. That's just how I am. But I always look at the lines and see all of it, and then during the game, I just imagine the people who are like, just sitting in their living room who have no vested rooting interest other than their money and how horrible they feel. And that made me feel good during the game. I was like, there are people out here losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
Saban has been so consistent at covering the spread.
Yes. Yeah. And, that's just how you got to lay an egg every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to put this on him because this is our fault.
Yeah, totally.
But, this is the worst loss. Like, I mean, you talk about laying an egg. This was like he laid a dozen, or we laid a dozen.
Yeah.
However you want to put it.
I was numb to it by the middle of the third quarter. I'd lost all feeling, and I just didn't care anymore. But I couldn't look away, and I just sat there and took it like a man.
I tell you,
it was the TV off and went in my room and cried.
It was tough here in Tuscaloosa. I imagine this is probably how California felt when Trump won the election. It was that bad. I mean, people were just depressed. I remember my buddy.
It's still that way.
My buddy Jacob, he ran by, like, he was running downtown because he's one of these runner guys. He's like healthy, thinks he's going to live forever.
Yeah.
And he ran by a shop, and it said "Soup of the Day whiskey."
Yeah.
Like the day after the championship. So,
yeah. I mean, it's still like a very depressed mood around town.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like if you live in a college town, like if it wins, everybody's happy, and if we lose,
Tuscaloosa's been happy for a long time.
Very happy. Very, very happy.
We used to always be able to tell who won on Sunday based on who showed up to church or who won on Saturday based on who showed up to church on Sunday.
I was going to say that's the same goes here because church attendance will be down if Alabama loses a game.
Very much so. You're also beginning of the football season. You're going to get one, is Jesus as important as football sermon? I mean, that's a guarantee every year. I love that one.
My brother-in-law, who is also a preacher, FYI.
You're from a family of preachers. You married into a family of preachers.
I did. He said he's got this great line where he says people won't show up at church tomorrow because they're mourning the death of their God today.
Let's talk about a guilt trip.
I know. Ouch.
I would just be like, Jared, I drank a lot during the game. That's why I'm not in church. Goodness gracious, man. It's not because I don't.
You guys still want to have church at 9 a.m.
When he said that, I was like, man, I'm never missing church again.
That's right. Yeah, I know. Man, that's tough right there.
Yeah.
That's like some, I don't know, St. Thomas Aquinas type, I don't know, like that's a pretty profound statement.
So anyway, that's a lot of rambling just to say that it's our fault.
Yeah.
And we've got that clip.
Alabama the game.
Yeah. Let me
all right.
Let's take a listen here.
I could tell the future with asparagus. I would be the world's most prolific gambler. I'd be like, who's winning the national championship? Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Let's ask the asparagus, like, who's going to win the national championship Monday night? Asparagus, who's going to win the college football playoff between Alabama and Clemson this Monday night at 7 o'clock?
Let's see.
Okay, that's my asparagus.
Okay, that's a heavy asparagus. Like a big bundle there. I believe that says ESPN's going to win.
Yeah. So roll tide.
Roll tide. I hope we didn't mojo it. If we lose this game, I'm blaming it on the asparagus.
Well, according to Nicolas Cage, when you look into the future changes because you looked at it.
That's right.
So,
yeah. I lean on Nicolas Cage's wisdom a lot in my life.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
There's some editing right there.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
I don't want to brag. Tiny don't want to brag, but he's pretty much a wizard.
So kiddos, that's why you don't dabble in the dark arts.
Yeah. You just don't go tossing around asparagus all willy nilly and don't think there's consequences.
And that was heavy asparagus too.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
And it was a heavy outcome. I mean,
maybe if we'd have went with like 2 or 3 stalks, we would only lost by like 3 points. Yeah. Maybe our defense would have showed up. I don't know.
Why did I have to throw up 44? Why did I have to throw up 44 stalks of asparagus?
Oh yeah, we should have went with a lower number for sure. That was tough though. That was tough. You know, it's just like I put on. I posted like, football's stupid. Like, why do I even care about it? You know, like why am I so emotionally invested in it? It's stupid. But we're a basketball school now. We beat Kentucky in basketball. We promptly lost to LSU though. But we beat Kentucky, so I'm pretty much considering Alabama a basketball school.
Yeah, basketball school.
Oh yeah, totally basketball school
until August.
Yeah, until we get back. There's spring training too. Got the A-Day game coming.
Well, I will say that Alabama won me $20 against OU because.
So you're up 10. There you go.
So I'm still up 10. So that's not gambling. Blessings. I won. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, count your blessings. Be glad we didn't match up with Clemson in the semifinals. Been down 20 because they boat raced us the whole game.
I grew up in Iowa, so I'm actually an Iowa Hawkeyes fan.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, there you go.
So we don't win anything.
Those exciting Big Ten 7-10 games that goes on up there.
It's like a baseball score.
But they do. They love their fullbacks. I like that. They love fullbacks in the Big Ten.
Hey, we have a lot of offensive linemen in the.
That's right.
NFL,
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say that's a good thing because here a while back, Alabama played a game against LSU and the ending score was 9-3.
That's right.
9-6. LSU.
9-6.
Yeah, you're right. 9-6 LSU. So
that's right. Yeah. Then we came back and beat them 21-0 in the national championship that year. But whatever.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the old times. That'll just get me sad again to think about that.
Yeah.
But I was. In fact, if I had to pick a Big Ten school to root for, it would probably be Iowa. I like their coach and their color scheme's really good.
Yeah.
And they have that whole pink locker room thing going on for the visitors. I enjoy that too. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Toxic masculinity at its finest.
There you go. That's right. That's science.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the drunk rooms at the jail painted pink. So, I mean,
there's a reason.
There's a whole other story. There's a whole other story why I know that, but I'd root for Iowa if I was going to root for another team besides Alabama, but I wouldn't because I'd be cheating on Alabama. So.
Just don't bet on Iowa.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to worry about
it. Not a problem.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have any money to gamble with.
I don't have any money anyways. In fact, it's a whole nother. I won't get off on that story about why I don't have any money, but never mind. Yeah. I'm just broke. Just everybody listening, I'm broke. Don't ask me for a loan because you're not going to get one.
Yeah, instead, subscribe to the podcast.
Yes.
And maybe if enough people start listening, we'll set up a Patreon.
Right. Yeah, or I'll get like the Cash App and you could just directly send me money.
And if anybody wants to send me money on PayPal, I'm
right.
Odd Squad 69.
Yeah,
there
right.
you go.
Yes. That's his old football number.
Yeah.
That's what we're going with.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's the ticket.
Got it.
Yeah.
Bless us the Lord. Okay, so do you have any stories for me today? Anything in the news that you've seen recently?
Oh,
the dude licking the doorbell.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? It's been pretty much all over everything.
Yeah, they caught him too.
Oh, they did. I didn't even see that. So
no, it didn't say what he's been charged with or anything. It just said that he's been caught.
I'm saying I didn't think that would be illegal to lick. I mean, trespassing probably, I would imagine a charge or like loitering or something because he licked it for quite a while.
He licked it for 3 hours.
Yeah, right. And I'm not kink shaming him. That's what he's into. That's what he's into.
I mean, there's a small part of me that admires his stamina.
Yeah.
But then there's another part of me that's like, this is why we have stupid laws. Every state has stupid laws. And in the future, there's going to be a law you can't lick a doorknob for 3 hours. And someone's going to be like, why in the world do we have that law? Well, it's because of this dude.
Because
right
of this
here.
dude. Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much every law is because somebody's done something stupid.
There's a law in Alabama that you cannot wear a fake mustache in church because it could make people laugh.
There you go. That's right.
And I'm not kidding. It really is a law like that.
Because we love the Lord.
Yeah.
Also in Alabama, there's a law that you can beat your wife with a stick, so long as the stick is no bigger around than your thumb. If you didn't know that. So, and that's my wife doesn't mess with me about the podcast. They better get that supper cooked too. And it rattle some pots and pans. All right. And get my switch out. I'm kidding. I don't beat my wife. In case you don't edit that part out and anybody listens to it.
It's never come to that.
Yeah, no, I don't have to. I just rear back and act like it. She gets busy. All right. I'm just kidding. But, I know I sound so country that somebody will listen to this and be like, this redneck is like crazy. I don't beat my wife at all. Never laid a hand on. Don't even raise my voice.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I don't know how do you do things at your house.
Yeah.
I love my wife like I love myself.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well.
Ephesians.
I know. My mom was going down a different trail with loving yourself. That's a whole different thing.
and I love myself every chance I get.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, no, I respect my wife. Yeah. She's an angel. She really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't stay up and watch the rest of the ball game with me, though.
I don't blame her.
Did ask me if I was going to cry, too, when she went to bed. She's like, are you going to cry when I leave? And I was like, no, I'm not going to cry. I'm a grown man. And I let a tear trickle down my cheek.
She left and you started crying.
And sucked it up and went on about my life. Buried that pain deep down inside of me like all the other emotional scars I have.
And then went back to work the next day and sold more furniture than you ever sold.
Yeah. I went back to work, made a spreadsheet in my office all day long, listing the reasons why. Starting number one with the fact that we did not rush the passer.
Do you think they should have switched the quarterback in the second half?
No.
You say no?
I say no.
I say I'm not saying the outcome would have been different.
Yeah.
But once they no longer trusted Tua to throw the ball because he threw 2 interceptions, I mean, Jalen's a runner. Why not just see?
Yeah.
And when they did put him in, he went 3 and out. I'm not saying that outcome would be different. Yeah. But I would have liked to have seen what – I mean, he worked against Georgia.
True.
Yeah.
And, it wouldn't have hurt anything. I don't think anybody would have been upset.
I was about to say, I don't think anything
but
could have hurt that game.
He wasn't going to bring us back.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So save Jalen the embarrassment. He's about to transfer somewhere. Don't put him in and have 2 quarters of bad film on him. Just let him ride it out and then go on and play.
What if he did bring us back, though?
What if he did?
Isn't there a rumor he might come to Oklahoma?
I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I thought there was a rumor about that.
You don't need a quarterback?
Well, Murray's out, so.
Yeah, Kyler's gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe.
Dude, I'll tell you, Kyler Murray was way better than I thought. I mean, I've watched a few games of his, but watching him against Alabama,
and maybe impressed. I owe him an apology. Maybe I think he did deserve the Heisman.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
the best thing that came out of all of the Alabama getting just mud holed during the national championship game is it shut all the Georgia fans up who were like, we should have been in the playoffs over Notre Dame. Because they're like, we're the only team that could play with Alabama and blah, blah, blah. Like, no,
there's one more.
Yeah. There's one more, and they could play with like Alabama, really well. Yeah. They play with us like a toy, really. Destroyed our hopes and dreams.
Oh, man.
That's all right. A motivated Alabama team next year will be good with a secondary that's a lot more experienced.
We got a lot of players coming back too.
A lot of players coming back. So I'm excited about our chances. It's better than rooting for a team.
I'm pretty sure no matter what the outcome of that game would have been, they're still heavy favorites next season.
Exactly right. That's what I say. I don't understand. That's part of our problem is we don't understand what it feels like to lose and lose badly,
And then when we do,
yeah,
like half of Tuscaloosa is suicidal.
Right. Yeah, we'll have like a fan like poison Auburn's trees. We do a lot of irrational stuff when we lose badly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Clemson, you can't poison a rock.
No,
so good for them.
They do have a lake though. You didn't know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they call Clemson Auburn with a lake.
I didn't know that.
It's basically the same as Auburn, their whole campus and everything.
Well, now I had heard that Auburn they got their when they were starting up their football program years and years and years ago. They got old uniforms from Clemson.
I think it's vice versa. They sent their uniforms to Clemson, which is why purple is one of Clemson's colors because the blue faded over as they were washed.
Okay,
and that's why this is their color. So there's a little college football history lesson.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the other way around.
No.
I like the story the other way around.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to keep telling it that way.
No, Auburn was there. Auburn was first. It was Alabama Polytech at the time, though.
Okay,
it wasn't Auburn. So if you didn't know, Auburn had another name before then.
I didn't know that.
No, yeah. Every once in a while, you go to Auburn game, you see somebody with an Alabama Poly shirt on, because that was their name.
I thought their other name was Stink Puddle.
They're one of the best schools in West Georgia. So yeah.
So here's what happened. I started the podcast saying, "Oh, we talked about way too much fantasy football." So now we're just talking about real football.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about at least it's real.
Yeah. I don't understand fantasy football. Like, it seems like what fantasy football has done is found a way to add homework to football. And I don't understand. I've never played it. It's like I enjoy football, and I enjoy it so much I want to sit down and do homework about it. And that fascinates me.
Well, it's found a way for me to care about a Jets-Ravens game or something,
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good for the NFL.
It's good for the NFL.
Yeah.
But, football man won't stand.
Maybe we need fantasy podcasting where people listen to our show.
I'm starting Joe Rogan in this one.
Isn't there that is it John Christ? Is that his name? That comedian?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He has one that's like fantasy pastors where they draft Joel Osteen and Stephen Furtick.
Yeah.
They create a team that way.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Check that out.
Oh yeah, I wonder who would you take with your first round pick?
I would take my father-in-law, Alan Rogley.
And
just in case he ever listens.
You just threw away a first round pick.
Yeah, you did, dude.
You sure about that? You can't let emotions.
You could have got that for the price of a kicker.
Yeah, you could have got that in the 7th round. I was saying he still would have been available. All right, that's amazing. Would they have to be living?
Do they? Do they have to be living?
I don't think so. It's our rules, right? It's our league.
Yeah. I'm Charles Spurgeon all the way. First round. All right, stuck on that, guys. We're dominating this year.
I'm taking I can't pronounce the dude's first name, but Zwingli. He was
yeah.
Started an army and tried to lead a revolution.
Yes, he did. I'm
taking him.
He was like Martin Luther on steroids.
He was like Martin Luther going to war.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fascinating, though. Think about it. Yeah.
I take Craig Rochelle from Life Church.
Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think he's the closest to Jesus that you can.
There you go. Okay. I'd probably go Bishop Eddie Long. He got in a lot of trouble, but it's my dad's first name, too, so I'd like to take him. Oh, yeah, I'd take Paul the Apostle.
He wrote half the New Testament. Stick that in your pipe.
Maybe we should have went living only. Yeah.
Well, then you got Joel Osteen, who's got a stadium and playing private jets. So
amazing home court advantage for us. Yeah. I mean, amazing.
He was actually on our podcast one time.
Oh, yeah.
In the early days. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. I do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Just kidding.
I guess I'm going to have to listen.
Find that episode.
Yeah, get back and
great.
Listen to them all.
Anyone listening to this, if you can go back and find the episode that Joel Osteen was on and tell us which one it was, we'll give you $1,000.
Okay. All right. That's
because
bold.
It don't exist.
That's bold.
I noticed, Christopher, you offered that because you don't have any money.
That's right. Yes. I was going to go $10 Walmart gift card.
Even though it's a sure deal.
That's right. That's a good gift.
You can get a lot at Walmart for $10.
That's right. Yes, the prices are falling every day. I guess Walmart's like Universal, and everyone enjoys making fun of Walmart.
You don't like the fancy Walmart over there on Scotland?
That's called Target. Okay, Target's fancy Walmart.
Yeah.
But, so the People of Walmart website, I saw the other day a People of Walmart coloring book, and it is precious.
Careful, John. That's our audience.
Oh yeah. No. Those are my people.
Yeah,
I'm in there too. Yeah.
I'm a person of Walmart.
Yeah. No, I'm in there too. Yeah. I've done nothing big.
I'm on page 37.
Yeah. I don't have that Target money. We can't shop over there. We got to shop at Walmart. Sometimes save a lot too. Dollar General. Man.
Dollar General. Yeah.
Yeah. Dollar General is where it's at.
I like Aldi. Do you have an Aldi in Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we love Aldi.
Yeah. Aldi's where it's at, man.
I was so confused the first time we went there because I didn't know that number one, you had to rent your buggy. Luckily, a kind lady just gave us hers because I didn't have any change. And number two is that they didn't have bags, So we get up to the checkout line. The lady's like, check this out. And I'm like, all right, I'll help you bag. I grew up in a grocery store, And she was like, oh, we don't have any bags. She started throwing it back in the buggy or whatever. And so we had to go home with
John's like, you have to buy your own bags.
Well, we just go home with hamburger meat rolling around in the back of the minivan, and if we'd have had a wreck, we'd have got killed by all the debris from the groceries and stuff in there.
Well, I was about to say, when I shop at Aldi, I like to let the tailgate of my truck down. And then, put the cart and then just dip it in there and then just slam the tailgate and go home.
I would say you just take the whole cart home. Like, I paid $0.25 for it. What?
I'll bring it back next week.
What y'all looking at? I paid $0.25 for this. I'm going to turn it into a barbecue grill. Paid a whole $0.25 for this. A good quarter. Yeah. It's wild. I didn't understand the Aldi thing, though. But I do like it. It's just not on our side of the world. So,
and I tell you what, it's tough to break $200 in there. That's what I love about it.
Okay, yeah. I just never get over there. I heard they're building one on Northport, though, on our side of town. Not that there's any concern of anyone who might listen.
Yeah, everyone out there listening to this, they're building Aldi.
We're getting an Aldi in Northport, y'all. It's big news. Big news. If you didn't know, Northport's on the other side of the river, Tuscaloosa, pretty much the same town. Yeah. But Tuscaloosa's got all the cool stuff. So we're finally going to get an Aldi. Big news, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, this would be the first episode here of the new season for us. So thanks for being on.
Happy 2019, everybody.
Yeah, happy 2019.
It's actually,
thanks for having us on, for real.
It's actually over our 30-minute mark. So.
Oh,
okay.
Man, we're done.
Well, I'm sure you can trim the fat.
Probably not. Anyways, how can people find your podcast? I'm sure you're everywhere, but.
Yeah, people can find our podcast, Earth Oddity. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Republic, Spotify, iTunes, everything. iHeartRadio.
If you got a thing that'll play a podcast, and we're on it.
We have a Facebook discussion group, Earth Oddity, where you can
join up.
Join up because people are active in there. You can make jokes, read stories, and sometimes we take our stories from the Facebook group and we try to shout out people.
That's right.
Send them our way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a phone number that you can call.
Which I don't have prepared for. Right. 1 second. It's 662. Oh, man, I don't want to update my software. Wait a second. I'm in the middle of something. All right.
They always ask you when you're trying to do something.
Right. Our phone number is 662-493-2059. You would think I would have that memorized by now.
You say it at the end of every show.
But I don't at all. My brain's all mush from college.
You can tweet at us. We're at _Earth Oddity on Twitter.
That's right.
_Earth Oddity on Instagram.
Got a very active Instagram. Yeah. I mean, we're putting stuff up there all the time. It's probably our number one outlet. Yeah. So
we actually tweeted at y'all before the show. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if you check your Twitter that often.
No, I don't. I'm not very active on the social media for the podcast anyway. I should be.
I'm trying to get better at it because I feel like that's where it's at.
Every week I commit myself to it, and every week I fail. It's like, man, I'm horrible. Like in the mornings, literally this morning I was getting the shower. I was like, man, I got to put a picture up. When I get to work, I'm going to put a picture up. And then I'm sitting here right now and I didn't put one up.
Did your dad not tell you to never put off till tomorrow what you can do today?
He did, but there's a lot of things my dad told me that I didn't listen to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
my last legit tweet for Bible Belt Bros was a retweet of me asking for prayers that my fantasy baseball lineup would. So thanks for being on, and check out their. I'll put a link in the description because I don't know if Oklahoma people know how to spell Oddity.
Sure they do.
I know.
Hey, if Alabama people can spell Oddity, I'm sure Oklahoma people can.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we'll definitely have you guys on soon. I think I'm coming on your podcast at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
In the near future.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week.